Damn, I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of StarcraftInc. I'm SSN Incarnate, and you're watching a first-person view VOD here, kinda on YouTube, sort of daily, I think. Sure. This is this is the first time I've ever done this. I'm gonna sit back on replay mode with the first-person camera on, and I'm not going to move the screen. I'm just gonna let it go. It's on my view and my view only, and we'll slowly go through this. I'll talk about the different things that I think about while I'm playing a game. I'll leave the production tab open, maybe go back and forth between some of the other tabs, but probably not much. So, first things first, I've had a problem where a lot of Terran players are blind to 2 racks pressuring, sometimes even 3 racks pressuring, and it's extremely difficult, not impossible, but extremely difficult to take a 1 gate expand off that, or against that. This is a long map, but I'm still going to play it reasonably safe. Now, I'm not a grandmaster by any means, so don't take this as perfect play. But this is just what I think about and what I do while I'm playing the game. And very efficient APM player. I'm not one of those guys that spams the screen around. I go where I need to go, I do what I need to do. And just gonna kind of scout around, setting up the first scout now. I don't really follow the scout with my screen per se. I just kind of use the mini-map to navigate him and wander him around. And I put the second pylon really spread out from my first pylon to just get good view of my base. This is a good map for Terran players to drop in-base bunkers and try to bunker rush you with some really early stuff. And you can also use that second pylon to scout incoming SCVs into your base. So as soon as the Vespene geyser is done, I'm going to put my guys in there. If you find that your Vespene geyser finishes and you're not filling it right away, you didn't need to build it when you built it. So, you know, work that into your build. Only get your gas when you need gas. And if you're not going to put your guys in right away, don't build it. So, going right into just very standard looking build here. I will be getting my Cyber Core at standard timing, and from my gateway, I believe I get a Zealot. Yes, a Zealot indeed. So, I couldn't get into his base, even though that looks like a little space there. I tried, but whatever. And he's got 2 Marines out, and he will be scouting my base with that SCB. Now, it looked like some early pressure coming from him. I wasn't really sure what to read, because I couldn't get into his base at all. And that's a really big issue on a long map like this. If you can't find your Terran opponent on the map before his wall is sealed off, you can't get any information. You can't see if he's got a gas or not. You can't see if if he's got an add-on on his first racks. Well, on his you see his first racks, but I mean you don't know if there's a second racks going down and if an add-on's starting on it or what. So I'm kind of flying blind. I really want to take an expo, but I'm uncomfortable with how little I know. So I'm going to play it safe with these 3 gates and try to get my chrono out. And I'm not going for any kind of ridiculous blink micro all-in, that's not the way I'm going to play this out. Like I said, I'm going to go safe. I am going to take that expand, because if he decided to get an expansion, which I'll check later. I mean, there's no point in sending my probe up there right now, because if he's got 3 Marines sitting on the forward ramp, I'm not going to get my probe up there to see an expansion anyway. So he could be bluffing quite a bit. So I'm gonna take that expansion, hope for the best. I'm gonna take a tower, and that'll give me enough time to catch incoming units, hopefully, and cancel my Nexus if I have to. So I'm gonna set a forward pylon, but not put it right close to the edge, because if I do, he'll scan it and kill it. So I want to put it a little bit farther back, so that I can get my warp-ins out of enemy fire. You never want to warp in your new units right in front of your Terran opponent, because he will just kill them while they're warping in. That's the one downside to warp tech, man, and there aren't many, trust me. So, gonna go for a robotics bay. It's pretty safe to get that 1 tech building, even though you're expanding. I know it's kind of risky to tech and expand, because then you just come out with nothing when that big push hits your base, but I do have some stuff. It's not a huge deal, and I'm just going to be pumping observers with it for the most part. So not really going into Colossus or anything. I also have a problem with Colossus early game. I'm not a real big fan. I'd like to go Templar Tech first, at the very least. And I know I'm not scouting much, guys, but like I said, until I have something worth scouting with, I'm not going to scout. I'm going to go for that observer. I'm going to get the observer, and once I have it out, I will in fact go scout. And it's good to get 2 observers, especially if you're blind like this. 1 for your base and 1 to scout them. And I can't tell you how many times I've sent my observer out, my first observer out to scout them, and right when my observer gets to his base, that's when the cloaked banshee shows up in yours, you know, and then your observer's in the wrong place, and they snipe the pylon powering your robotics bay, and blah-de 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 blah. It's just sucks dick. So get 2, maybe keep the first one in your base, send the second one out. It's a good idea. But why not? They're dirt freaking cheap. That would have been a big deal back way before they reduced the cost, but now they're, like I said, they're dirt freaking cheap. So, do that. Yeah. I must construct additional pilots. So I am supply block. We'll be going for that Twilight Council as there's been no pressure. I feel safe on teching. And if you can see in the production tab that he is getting siege tanks, he's getting Hellions. He's going for a very factory-oriented play, very mech. And I personally have no trouble dealing with mech. It's not that mech is underpowered, it's just I understand it a lot better than Marine Marauder Medevac. For Marine Marauder, I have a hard time gauging how much is going to be in his base after I've defended an attack. So if he attacks me and I crush his army, I'm not very good at guessing how much his production has been able to spit out since then. And so I'm never sure whether I should counterattack or expand. But with Factory Tech, I have a very good idea of, you know, how it moves, how it produces, and it feels a lot more like Protoss production when you start teching as well. It's kind of slow and sluggish to get across the map, and we're excluding Blink Stalkers here. We're talking like if I'm going Colossus or Robo or something like that, and I've got Zealots with it, you know, slow and sluggish across the map like that. So my observer will see these tanks, and this is the first information I'm getting. I'm lucky he hasn't pushed me with anything weird yet. And, you know, I'm seeing some Marines with those tanks. The observer's going to swing around. I'm checking to see if he's broken the rocks and gotten expansion. He has broken the rocks. He has not gotten his expansion. I just dropped a battery that I've been playing with. And so I'm just going to keep warping in. I know he's teching, but now I'm seeing that he's like, I think he's finished teching 4 Hellions that I had no idea existed. They must have been just scouting the map for weird stuff. And I'm seeing that he's really pumping out a lot of units. So when your opponent's producing units, you need to be producing units. And when your opponent's teching, you need to be teching. If I scout that he takes that 3rd base, I'm going to take my 3rd base. And there's no reason to push out and attack him, especially when he's got such a turtle unit like a siege tank. And I'm really just trying to sit here, watch, and match what I see. I know he's not getting Banshees, so I can take my Stalkers out from behind my mineral line. In fact, there's no sign of Starport Tech yet at all. And I'm surprised, because Banshees would really complement his build well, but he's not going that route. So I'm seeing quite a low number of Marines in his composition. I will be getting 2 Stargates to match this. And I know it looks like I have a lot of tech on 2 bases, but I'm not really using all of it. It's kind of a tech switch. I'm being very reactive here. I'm not going to take my 3rd until I know for sure that he's taking his. I just saw him transfer SCVs over to that area where the 3rd is, so that tells me that he is in fact expanding. And I will be opening up my warp gates, just kind of getting ready to match his production toe to toe. I've got a lot of tech, a lot of gateways, and I will be able to keep up on all fronts. Getting another observer so that I can, you know, keep tabs on the rest of the map rather than just his base. I want to leave that observer in his base when his army pushes out and follow his army with a separate observer. I like to hotkey my observers to 0, as you can see if you look down at my hotkeys. And that's because I have a bad habit of losing my observer. You can't really see them very well. And it's a separate hotkey way away from all the others that I can, you know, I don't jumble, I don't mix up, I know where it is every time, and I like it. I don't know, you guys can use it, you guys don't have to use it, whatever. Your call. So, I'm getting Phoenix, and you guys are like, what the fuck, Phoenix? Well, Phoenix suck, Incarnum, and absolutely not, they do not suck. I'm getting a lot of charge lots, and I don't think I've started upgrades for them yet, but I do like to get upgrades normally. I'm not sure. I know I get them in this game, but I'm not sure if I have them yet. And yeah, I know you guys are like confused as fuck as to what's going on with the Phoenix, but you guys can wait and see. Phoenix are so freaking awesome. There's my double forge. Apparently I'm deciding I can't afford upgrades right now, and I can't because I'm sitting on like no gas. I do take my third because I know, like I said, he has his. I know he's going to get ready to push soon. He's got to be getting impatient. He hasn't scouted me much, even though I haven't scouted him much. And here's where I'm going to start to make him nervous. He's really going to feel like he needs to push out soon. He's going to see these Phoenix and really think that it's my main tech path. Mostly because it's all he's seen so far, and he knows that he thinks he's going to be safe against some sort of air build. And I know these tanks were naked. I saw them with my observer. He just scanned and sniped my observer. I will be able to pick up and damage this other tank here. But I got to get out of there with my Phoenix. Trying to cancel. I do get away with it. It is alive. Hooray. Gonna pick up some SCVs. If you see mules, pick up mules. That one mule actually just died on its own, so it's not a big deal. Gonna be picking up any SCVs that I can find that look valuable. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to troll through, see what's going on in there. I saw some factory upgrades. I thought maybe Thor were an option, because I did see that, whatever you call it, the building that lets you get Thor. I don't remember what it's called, but you guys all know what I mean. It's kind of like the robotics bay for Terran. But anyway, we do see him pushing out now. I do have control of the tower, so I do know that. And he's tagging each tower. My zealots on the right are just far enough out of range. My Phoenix will come over and allow me to pick up random tanks. My charge lots will come from behind, and they will, in fact, engage the siege tanks as they're sieging up while the rest of his army is out of position. And he is now sandwiched between two armies. This is not a good situation for him at all. I do come in with the rest of my Phoenix at some point. I don't know why I didn't come in with all of them. I don't even know what happened there. But anyway, that's how I dealt with that. That was pretty one-sided, if you ask me. I will now not push him. I will expand, because it's amazing how much damage just a handful of siege tanks can do if you are the one on the offensive and they are defending with those siege tanks. Now, I have a chrono problem. Once I'm on 3 or 4 bases, I just stop using my chrono as fast as I get chrono. So, kind of feel that that's one area that I could definitely improve on. My decision making is pretty strong as far as when to do what. It's gotten a lot better, that's for sure. It hasn't always been that strong. A lot of the time I just kind of push and die. Like a long time ago I would have just pushed in and suicided all my units there. Like, look, I don't have much. If he has like 3 or 4 siege tanks in good locations, I could not push him right now. So I do scout this expansion here. My Phoenix will be able to cause it to land at least. He's going to bring it back to no avail. He's going to drop that down. He can't do anything with it. I'm going to kill that SCV and move on. I've delayed that expansion. I'm going to get the ones harvesting gas, and I guess I only took out one. I usually, anytime I fly by a base like that, I try to kill the SCVs that are harvesting gas. I do see a big SCV transfer there, and I see his army starting to move out here, and he gets me with some EMPs. Not too good ones. He only hits half of my Phoenix, and I will join my army in the middle again. Warping in more zealots, trying to get them up there in time to engage this, morphing in Archon, pretty straightforward stuff. I've got pylons in good spots. I'm really happy with my pylon placement here. They're not in the middle of the engagement, but they're in a good spot to reinforce. My zealots get on top of the Hellions, and Hellions aren't really good when they're surrounded. Phoenix will pick up all those tanks, and away I go. It's pretty bad news bears for our Terran friend here. The zealots will get on top of the tanks, pretty much unsupported by Hellions, so yeah, not a good thing for him. Do a little bit of a tech switch into Stalkers, because I feel that he's starting to hate on the Phoenix now. And what that tells me is he will go some sort of anti-air, and I do need Stalkers to deal with that if he, starts to double Stargate. Starport, I don't know. If double starport reactor, if he starts to spit out a lot of Vikings, I'm in trouble. Or maybe goes on more of a marine heavy build. But he does not have much money. He is vastly undersupplied compared to myself, and I really feel like I'm in the lead. But of course, I don't 100% know that. I don't know what he's tech switched to. Maybe he's got like a boatload of battle cruisers behind closed doors and he's gonna reveal them like late game. I don't know. Anyway, I'm always suspecting the worst when I play games, and of course, game sense tells me I'm wrong. I mean, I know that he doesn't have that stuff, but I'm always just like, okay, what's next? Even if I'm winning dramatically, I never call it good manners if you want, but I never do that midfield stuff like easy and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I watch Combat X and I think he's the funniest motherfucker on the planet, even though he's BM as hell. And don't lose respect for me if you hate Combat X, but you gotta give him some credit. He's a straight shooter, he says it like it is. He's a troll, but everything he says is true, man. And I don't know, he's funny to me. But that's just me. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Just kind of sealing the deal, getting Colossus now. And I feel like my Colossus, even though like I said, I'm kind of expecting some sort of anti-air, I feel like my Colossus are well protected by the Phoenix. I'm starting to get some Void Rays so that I can do a little offensive on the ground and air with them. And just some extra firepower, you know? Void Ray Colossus, I like that composition, don't you? Anybody who plays against Protoss probably disagrees with me there. But I do have a nice number of Phoenix. I'm quite happy with those. That expansion is down here now, and he gets me over here while I'm not expecting it. So that's like my blind spot on the map. I really should have had spotting over there. It's one of the only spots that I don't see anything. If you look at my map view, I've got some pretty good spotting. But I will get my stalkers over there to kind of, you know, buffer, to delay the amount of time it takes him to pour in here, just giving my army time to get over there. But he does have those siege tanks, so there's not much my stalkers can do. I'm just trying to wall the Hellions off so they don't just bum rush into the line. As you can see, as soon as the tanks siege up, it's goodbye Hellions. And I don't really think he's watching. I don't really know what's going on. My Vikings, sorry, my Phoenix do get in here and start picking and sniping tanks. And my army will arrive just in time to stop him from annihilating my mineral line. So now he's officially lost a base and I haven't, because I'm going to come out ahead here. There's just like no way he can win this engagement. And I do have a couple zealots down here that aren't being used for some goddamn reason. And we'll pick up the remaining siege tanks and clean this up. Hokey pokey. I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. And I will be... see, I should be getting more warp gates and getting rid of those probes that are sitting there at the gas doing nothing. I will start chronoing out more upgrades. I'm really floating heavy minerals and don't have much gas. That's because I just got a boatload of Archons. Oh, I wish I had more drink. I'm going to take one. Hold on. So I kind of get the jump on him here. I didn't have spotting. He told me he was sitting there. And I won't push in as far as the tanks. I just wanted to get some free kills, and I did. So that's all I need. I know I can back up safely. And warping in a couple more zealots, I think. Maybe High Templar, I don't even know. And I see those tanks sitting there. I see that there's Vikings. I know that there's no Marines. So my Phoenix are going to fly way ahead. I'm going to scout up ahead, kill those Vikings so that I have some free reign with my army. I know he's going to have to unsiege here. He can't do anything. The Void Ray comes in, and that is total air dominance. So I did a video a little bit earlier about how to deal with mass siege tanks as Terran, and it's really a lot the same when you're dealing with them as Protoss. Once you get that air domination, they can't protect their tanks. They just can't. So, you know, it's kind of his fault for not getting any Thor, not getting any Marines, not getting Vikings earlier. He was trying to deal with my Phoenix with ghosts, as you could see. But it's just a bad choice, man. Your EMPs have to be perfect, and that energy regenerates, and I can still, you know, use my Phoenix as fodder for anything else that shoots air. It just gets in your way, and I don't know. I don't think that Ghost is the right composition unless you're going bio already. But I'm Assassin Incarnate, and you're watching StarcraftInc.